and welcome to day 22 and 23. Today we are doing brickwork and stone or rocks, whichever you want to call them. I've hidden the ones I've already pre-done so you can't see them yet. So we're going to do the brickwork first. Now I have sat and I have practiced them and got a nice little palette going for brick. So I know what I'm doing with it. Now, these are the bricks that we're going to be doing, a combination of these. Now, all the difference is this one, this red brick is that just a blended version, and that's a textured version. And then obviously there's this version. Did I do any smooth versions of that? No. So I have on the other page, which I'll show you at the end. I have done some on a colouring page. I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So you know what the brickwork will look like. Now, all I've done on the creative background sheets, I've just put a fine brickwork pattern in with pencil, and then I've rubbed that layer out so you can't see it so very much, because the art to these bricks is I don't put a black layer around. Obviously, if you're doing this in a colouring book, for example, I'll not show you the page I'm doing, because I want that to be a little surprise because it does look good. Say this is, I know it's a bigger brickwork, but it's more bigger stone, but they've got black lines around. You just work with that on your page. But if you was having a blank page, say, and you wanted to put brick behind this as though it was sat in front of a brick wall, you would do this technique that I'm doing now. So I'll leave my examples there just so I can see what I'm doing, because these are going to be on a bigger scale. So there will be 5 textured ones and 5 smooth ones, just so an easy version and a slightly harder version. I'm going to come down slightly. I want to get a bit closer. So all the time, the ones I'm working with, you'll be able to see the colours that I'm using as well. They're actually on screen for you if you can read my writing. I've probably not done it in a very good way. Oops. 1 second. I'm going to try and see if I can get that focus a bit clearer. There we go. Okay, so let's get on with it. So I'm going to do first, which one should we do first? Let's do a red grey one. So I need peach, putty beige, burnt ochre. I'm getting pretty used to what these colours are now. Burnt ochre, 70% warm grey, and oh, that's 30%. That's not even the one I'm after. 70% cool and 70% warm. Was that this one? Yes. So that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got 5 pencils out. Okay, so what I'm going to start off with is the putty beige, and I'm going to put my own edge in, so hopefully you can see what we're doing. I'm using Prismacolours, and this is putty beige PC 1083, and I'm going to go round as close to that line as I can, but I'm going to make my own edge, so the mortar in between the bricks there, because I don't want the edge perfectly straight. You want it to just have its own way. And then I'm just going to give that a light layer across the whole brick, just an even coverage, nothing major. And I decided to do it on this bigger scale so you can see exactly what I'm doing. It's hard to see it on small little bricks, but if I do it this big, you can see exactly how I'm doing it, and it will look more effective. So what I'm doing now, this is going to be a textured brick, and I'm going to do it as, so this is the technical version, and then there's going to be the basic version. So I'm going to then come in with Peach PC939, and I'm just going to put my own little design in it of where I want this to go. So whatever you do, if you're following on with the more technical one, you can just put in your own little pattern to suit you. And then what I'll do in between, I'm going to get my lightest one, or which is a lightest of the two, even though they're both 70%. This is cool grey, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add that in there. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add that in there. I'm just going to fit these in where I feel I want it to go. But it's entirely your own pattern. Okay, once you put them patterns in, I'm going to come in with the burnt ochre now, and I'm just going to build on this part of the brick, and I'm going to kind of come in the middle of the lighter brown that we've used. Bring that up to that grey. And same on this side. I'm laughing at myself because I've cooked Mexican for tea and I think it dyed my skin. To add like a marinade on the chicken. So it's like, give me a nice shade of orange to my skin. Okay, so we'll just blend that into there. And that's give us our nice little form on there. And then I'm going to come in with 70% warm grey and go over the top of the grey that we've just done with the other one. And just kind of fit that in the middle where you think it'll look right. So I'm flashing it through on them smaller bits. Might even add a bit in this and blend it out. I've add a bit in this and blend it out. Okay, and then I'm going to come back down then with the light colours that we've just used. So coming back to peach, and I'm going to blend that into the burnt ochre that we've just used and the grey. This side. I don't mind that dirty bit of that grey dirtying it up a little bit because that adds character to it. And then our putty beige, we're going to fill these areas in with that. Get a nice mix up to the brick. What I'm going to do is just deepen up them areas and make it look like I've got a chunk missing out of that bit. And maybe the same here. I'll come back to 70% cool grey and just blend that out as well. This is quite more of a modern kind of brick. Well, I wouldn't go for this if you wanted like an old style brick. I'm going to deepen up that bit, the burnt ochre here. Add some to that bit. Let's just going with it as more than anything, and just seeing what works and what doesn't. If it looks a bit too patterned, take some of it out. This is what good with Prismacolours, they just smush, so it helps if you want to change it and add things in. There we go. It's more like a marble brick. So now I'm going to show the smooth version of it, which we'll do. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I'll come in down here with this and we'll just line the edge. And this is the 70% warm grey. I just had to check then that my microphone was working. I was thinking, please tell me I've not just started that and I've no volume. And this is the 70% cool grey. And then going in with the burnt ochre. And I'm going to come into that grey we've just put down. And then into the peach. And then into the putty beige. I'm going to go over the top of all of them like a blender with putty beige and blend them all together. Okay, and then once you've done that with that brick, that's your smooth version. To give it a bit of texture, you can either go in with a sharp, just sharpen the Prismacolour up. Shavings in the bottom part here because I've took my bin away. So I just want a nice sharp bit for this, and you can just come in anywhere and just put some nice little cracks in it. You can do it with your brown and the grey. You can take your grey and you can kind of not break your tip like I do, but you can kind of put your own little cutouts in it which is what I'm doing here, like a chunk's missing out of it. It's all the same colours that you've used above, and then just put a nice little fracture in it. There you go. And just give it texture just like that, and then to the brown. And you can bring more texture in, just put in a bit more of a jagged edge in. And that's the simple versus the textured. And that's what they're all going to be like basically. So the next one is going to be a grey one. So we need 20% warm grey, which is 20% warm grey, 30% cool, maybe it's 50%, and I've calculated. I think it might actually be 50 now, I've seen it as 30, because that's 70, and that's 70, and there's no other greys. So yes, let me change that. So it's 50% cool. 70 and 50%. 20% cool grey, 50% cool grey, and then 70% cool grey, and then 70% warm. Okay, and on this one we're going to do exactly the same as we've just done there. And I'll just take this book out. So again, we're starting off with the bottom, and we're going to draw it in. So 20% cool grey. Just sharpen the pencils up there. Okay, so I'm going to draw it in like we just did before, and they're all done in the same process. I'm not too bothered about it being really straight. And then a light layer over the whole brick. And then I'm going to come in with my next one, and I'm just going to put like the same as this side, only I'm going to come down maybe a little bit with this. So this is 50%. And that can travel up to that corner. Just trying to make it different. I don't want each one to look the same. Okay, and then I'm going to come in then again with the 70% cool grey, and I'm going to come round the edge of that with that, slightly into there. I kind of edge this now with the 70% cool. I kind of want to block that corner right there because that can be like a cracked bit. And we can have some bits just lying around like spots of grey. And then we're going to use 70% warm, and that's gonna, I'm gonna edge this out as though it's cracked. And then get 50% and blend that out. And corner it very light with the 20%. And then the same with this. I think I'm going to make this a big crack kind of in the stone. And these are not so much like a chunk missing, they're more like weaves and grains in between the brick. And come in there as well. And then kind of step of that. Come down to the middle of that. That can be like a crack as well. It's like I put some kind of face in that unintentionally. And then blend that out. But they look even more impressive on a actual brick, you know, smaller brick. And when there's more of them clustered together, they look really good. Now moving on to 50% cool grey and blending out from that. And then lastly 20% cool grey. I'm going to really work that into all them colours there. And smoothing that out. And then when you push over these, it kind of pushes it out and smudges it a bit, so it's not as uniform. It kind of moves and gives it a nice effect. We're just going to add more in a bit of this just for a bit of shadowing effect on these corners, just to enhance some of this that we've already put in. I'm just going to give some of these like fractures to these. It just helps with that definition. Plus I love my black pencil, everyone knows that. Okay, I'll leave that like that. And then, so I'll do opposite to here, and we'll do this one, a big shadowed one. So 70% warm grey to start off with. I'm just going to do exactly what we've done on the other one. Nice dark edge in a scumbling pattern, which is the tiny little circles that you do. and then making that blend line slightly lighter pressure, and then moving on to 70% cool grey in the blend line, working slightly into the first layer of 70% warm and bringing that cool grey outwards towards the centre. And I find it helps travelling round in the circle to help keep it that kind of shape with your blend. Next up is 50% cool grey, again going into that blend line first, pushing back into that cool 70%, and then work your blend line out towards the centre. And then the centre is just 20% cool grey. And then take cool grey over all of them, blend it out. If you don't want to do this, you can use a blender pencil, but I just like how it smushes it together. Just need to use the 70% warm grey a bit more here. It's just not quite dark enough around the edge. Okay. And then the 70% cool, pull that blend out again. I don't want a harsh edge, I want it to be nicely blended. Obviously, for the purpose of this video, I'm trying to be quick. So if you're doing this at home, please do your layers nice and slow and build it up. 20%. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is come back, get my point back on my pencil. And then the same as what we did there, all I'm going to do is literally take a chunk out the top bit. The good thing with Prismas is they're so waxy, they just go back over the top of any colour you've used. And then just put your crack in. And if you want to put a big crack in the middle of that, there you can. So it's whichever way you find it easy, whether you want to build the texture like that or you want to do a shaded look like this, which is a lot easier. Put a little dip in that, and there's a dip in that bit there. And then we'll have this corner taken out here. And then just for a bit of definition, just adding black in there, just on that very edge for shadow. Same with the centre of here. And just define that edge a little bit more with black. And that's a smooth version. So where are we up to now? So far we've done the red grey and we've done the grey. So now we're doing a traditional red brick. So we need peach, burnt ochre, terracotta, and Tuscan red. And I'll just sharpen these up. So you don't have to have them as sharp as I have mine. It's just that when I'm doing detailed work, that's what I prefer. Okay, so a light layer of, where we're doing this red brick here, a light layer of peach, PC 939. Put the edge in, move this over a bit more because we've got quite a bit of edge missing there. I've not gone up to that line. And I've made sure that I've rubbed them lead lines out, that whatever colour we do go in between with, you won't see it. And then a nice even layer of peach. Okay, and then next up we're going in with burnt ochre. And again, I'm just going to come round the edges and I'm going to bring bits out of the whole of that section, that colour. And maybe a little bit here. Making sure I'm coming far enough out with them colours. Because I need the reds to go in. So we've got terracotta. And I'm just going to come in and do kind of like around the whole brick here with terracotta. The aim here is, we don't want a dead wobbly line, but it doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. And then I'm going to come in with terracotta, not go all the way to the edge. I'm just going to kind of come to there. And then same in here. The edges of these. And then I'll add some areas in. And then we'll be using Tuscan red. And that's coming in this corner here. This will give it our red brick effect. In all this section here into like there, and then we'll blend all them in a second. We'll round the edge of the brick. And wherever I want to add that in, so I'm going to come along this edge here rather than fill the whole corner in. I'm just going to do that edge there. Okay, so then I'm going to come back down in the colours. So now we're going back to terracotta and blending that in to the Tuscan sun. I'm just going to let it take it, so even if I go over bits that I left out before and not bothered, it's all part of the design. then down to burnt ochre. I'm going to just bring some more of that Tuscan sun in here. It doesn't seem a red enough brick for me. But anyway, so just get some of that dust off. And then with peach, we're just going to blend all of that in. And that is the red brick. And then, why should we put the red brick on here? That one, do that red. And then that's going to be brown. No, brown blue. Right, no, so I need to put the red here. So I'm going to come in with Tuscan Sun. Put that in. And these different textured brick walls, you can either, once you've mastered that technique, it'll be at one solid, with more like concrete brick, or you could do the big slabs with that texture. You can do a whole wall like that, a whole wall like that, or vice versa, or mix it up like I've done here, and it gives you a really nice different shaped brickwork, which when I show you in the book in a second for the example I've done, you'll see what I mean exactly. It looks amazing. So, and I haven't even finished that yet. And then we've got terracotta. I'm going slightly into that blend line. Okay, and this was for, let me just put on here that this is for day 22, and then this one is day 23. I don't think I can write that on. Did I put that right on top? So this one is day does not look like an arrow, does it? There we go. So let's get back onto terracotta and soften that edge up. This is kind of like how I did the bat wings at Halloween. Burnt ochre, and bring that up into the terracotta as well. And lastly peach. And then, like I did before, I'm going to use the peach as the burnisher and blend all them together. And then like we did before, steepen up that edge there with Tuscan Sun. Sharpen up the edge. You don't want a wishy-washy edge. Not bothered about it being straight, but we don't want a wishy-washy edge. So a nice strong edge. And then with a sharp tip, excuse me, just going to put our cracks in again, and this is again, like I said, our simple version of doing texture. It'd be a lot quicker to do this version. Let's have a chunk coming out of here. And we'll have this corner out here as well. And again, just get black. And just to add your definition in, that helps with that if you need it. That's it. And you don't have to do that at all if you don't want to. You can just leave it as it is. So let's see what else we've got now. So I've just done the red. So now we've got the brown blues, because we're going to do a simple brown one, but that will be a textured one. There won't be room. I might just do the edges with them brown ones. We'll see. So for that, I need indigo, 70% warm grey, %70% cool, and then dark brown and burnt ochre. Dark brown and burnt ochre. So I'm going to do a textured one with this one, and I'm going to start off with burnt ochre, and that's going to come in here. Keeping in mind that gap between the two bricks. I've probably gone a bit too high up there. I'm just trying to freehand this rather than getting my ruler out and do it too neat. I don't want it. My aim wasn't not to it to be too neat. So a straight layer all the way along. And then with the indigo blue, I'm going to come in and put in a corner here where I want that to go. There we are. Where else shall we do some? I think we should do some coming out here, and like a big section there. I mean, these textured type might not be to everyone's cup of tea. over the top of that indigo, I had to just work out what I'd done then. Over the top of that indigo now, we're going over the top of that with 70% warm grey, just in the middle of everywhere that we've just gone with that. Leaving a bit out to blend, because all the blue's doing is just giving us a nice blue undertone to it. And then blend out with 70% cool grey. Over the top of the last bit of that indigo. And then everywhere we've been with that, I'm going to go back with dark brown. Oh, that's getting a bit blunt. And then mix that into that grey. And here. I love these. I took these from very like modern bricks. Now I've got very similar ones on my house where they're grey and brown. And I think it's quite a nice modern look. I'm going around everywhere we've been with that one, with this dark brown. And then I'm going to add the burnt ochre back in. I'm going to blend all them out by going over the top of it with burnt ochre, over the top of the grey as well. I'm pressing quite hard as I'm taking this layer over. There we go. And that gives that gorgeous effect. And if I want to, I can do the black again and just jump in here with the black. We could make this look like a nice little crack. Do now a nice new brick. Same in this corner. And you don't have to do this, you can leave them in the raw state before I started adding these two on any of these bricks. You don't have to do what I've done. I like to sharpen them edges up so it looks like there's bits missing. And same here. Darken up that edge. We'll go back with our indigo and just give it a nice little edge to it there. And then we can go back in with the dark brown here and just deepen up some of these areas. And then ever so slightly with the black. I'll just emphasise that crack in there as well with that brown. That's it. Okay, and then again a smooth brick here. I'll start with indigo. Got the nice little blue edging. And then over that with 70% warm grey. I don't mind if some of that blue still appears out. It's totally fine. And then into 70% cool grey. This also looks cool, this colour. But then with the brown, with dark brown, I go into the grey with that. And then in with burnt ochre. And you're kind of using burnt ochre as your blender pencil again. And it just warms that grey up that little bit more. And again, you can get your indigo. And you can use your indigo for your cracks if you want to put cracks in. Oh, this top corner missing. So that coming down here. There we go. And then we'll just use the black just to emphasise that little crack a bit there. The same within here. And I think they look really good. And then lastly, we've got time to do, we've not got time, not got be able to do a textured one. So I'm going to do just a blended simple one for the brown one, which is dark umber. Dark umber, dark brown, light umber, and ginger. What is ginger? There. We'll put them in. So we're going to start off with dark umber and go all the way around the edge, down. and then you just keep going. So obviously I've got these little bits, but I don't need to do them little bits because it's just the same again. And once I've shown you that technique, you can just run with it then and add your own little side bits to it, like I have. Dark brown, so then we're just coming slightly out, so we're overlapping the dark brown, sorry, the dark umber, and then coming out towards the centre with the dark brown. You're always overlapping your last colour to your next, so you leave a nice soft edge like I've done, and then you move on to your next lightest colour, which is light umber. Some people like to build up from light to dark. I've always generally go dark to light because I find that the easiest. But there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever you feel easiest with. This is ginger for the centre, and then go back to dark umber and just deepen that edge up again. And to get the texture effect, just follow what I did above there, but I haven't got space for it, and I had to sacrifice one. And this was my least favourite of them all, so I thought, you don't tend to see very many dark ochre looking bricks, so I thought this one can be my fall guy and just be the basic version of the brick. Back to light umber, and I've left these up so you can see which ones I'm doing, what colours I've been using as well. Soften that edge a bit, and then use ginger again, and then I'm going to use ginger as our burnisher. Okay, and then this time I'm going to get black. I'm just going to add little lines in here, little cracks. And like I said, they don't have to be cracked. I'm just doing it for effect. And we'll have a chunk missing out of here, like that. I'm just going to do that very edge bit there and then blend it into that brown. And I'm going to leave it at that. And if I was to put mortar in between, I would just go with, let's have a see. Ginger. I'd probably just use a ginger and go through the centre, because most mortar, I know in my house, is always lighter than what you would normally use. And I would just go around them all like that, because you wouldn't really do much to the mortar section apart from just fill it in, because it doesn't have much texture. If it would just have like speckly bits in it, but you don't want to take away from the brick, and this just gives it a nice sharp edge. And this is probably quite a neutral colour, which is good for all the bricks, so there'd be another brick there. And this bit, it's dark enough that it hides the lead that we used to draw the grid out. Okay, so that's how I would do brickwork. So that's that one. That is day 22. So what I'm going to do with the same colours we've got here, I've added a light grey. So we're going to do day 23 now, which is stones. So if you've had enough at this point, go and have a brew, pause me, do whatever you need to do, and then pop back, because we're doing part 2. So this will be a long video like the other one. I'm just going to peel this off. And this is what I've already done earlier. And this is using exactly the same as the colours we've used in the brick and we've interpreted into stone. So I've done this section so you know what it'll look like, but I've left this section blank. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I drew them stones in, because they're just free-handed in. And all you've got to make sure you're doing is you've got to think about the stones being laid up on one another. Now, I can't draw layering over and over and over and again. So what I do is make things look like the underneath. So we're going to draw things from an underneath perspective. So we'll just have this stone that's a random shape here, and then maybe the edge of it is here. And then we'll have a smaller stone on its side there, but we can't see the edge of it. And then we'll have a bigger stone, and we're always working or thinking, oh, that's underneath. And the bigger you do the rocks, the more space it takes up. So here we've got another rock, but that rock is then underneath all of them. And then there'll be another rock underneath these guys here. And then maybe a little rock squeezed in here. So the other side of it is underneath that rock. And then a big rock that goes underneath there. And then underneath all them is another rock. So you just put a curve in there, because that'll be underneath. Maybe put an edge there so it's underneath that. And then we'll have a rock partially under there and coming out here. And then what we do with the gaps, just get a felt tip pen, any kind of felt tip pen. This is a calligraphy felt tip pen, so it's got a brush tip and a fine nib. I'm just using the fine nib, and I'm going to colour in all the black gaps to the stones. Oops. And all I'm going to do is just copy the 5 designs that I've already done. Is it 5 or 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And I'll just repeat that around, because the more colours you start making, the harder it becomes, because you need to keep it simple. So give yourself a good, like, 4 or 5 colours to work with. I've probably got a bit too many here, but it's given me a nice difference. So there'll be a big gap here. There'll probably be another stone just here, but today we'll have a big gap. And you'd just implement this into any colouring page you was doing. So say you was doing a Joanna Basford in Lost Ocean, and she's got a reef full of fish swirling around. You could put this rock background under that, or in the middle of that. I'll show you one that I was thinking of doing it on before I did it on the creative sheets. So what you can see there is where all the rocks will be then. Before I move on to that, the bits that I've already done, I'm going to get the black, and then I just go underneath there and add the shadow of that rock to there. And then the shadow of this rock would be under here. And then the shadow of these 2 rocks are under here. Remember, shadows are sharp. You don't have to blend that shadowed edge out because you're just representing the light coming down over them, and that will then give it depth. So this one will have this stone on here. And this is the type of stone that I've thought of in my head. So I'm not saying that this is what you have to create, but this is what I've done. But when you just put in your colours, just get enough colours that blend together well. So let me think. This stone is over the top of this, so I want to put a shadow in there. And then that is over the top of that stone. So I want to put a shadow there. And they should start, see, they look like they're on top of each other now. So let's do some more rocks. So this one I started off with, it's just the red, so like the red brick here. It's exactly the same. So I'm going to do, let's make sure all that black dust is out the way, else it'll smudge. So I'm going to bring that over here. I'm going to add it in. This is my favourite. It's gorgeous. So a whole layer of that in, and I'm going to do different textures and shapes and things on them, if that I can remember what a stone does. So that's peach, and then we need burnt ochre, terracotta, and Tuscan sun. This time, instead of just shading it round, I'm going to get Tuscan sun, and I'm going to have like, I'm going to look at it and think, right, I'm going to put some shapes into this rock now. Not all rocks are uniform and blended. They have very striking edges to them. So you could get away with doing pretty much anything to a rock. Turn that around onto that kind of angle. Okay, and then I want Tuscan, yeah, terracotta. I couldn't think what I was doing then. So I'm going to bring that round like this. I'm just going to do any kind of design, and then I'm going to come inside here. And then the top. Can hear my dog is dreaming, but he must be drinking or something in his dream. He's eating in his dream. And if you hear my husband snoring, it's because he's asleep in bed, and I'm doing this at night. Let me just go and shut the door. I don't want people in there. Men snoring concanels. Right, so let's carry on with burnt ochre. I've done the wrong colour, I think. I'm using this. He's up early in the morning, so he goes to bed early when he's on an early shift. So I'm sat here and he's like that. This is back to Tuscan Sun. I'm going to do them quite odd. The odder the better. I might even add one more colour in, I don't know yet. And burnt ochre. Trying to make them look like they've got like a streak down the middle, like a bright streak. That's what I'm going for. Like I said, they're all different. Trying to work out how many we've got as to whether I should do another one. So I'll do another one down here. And I'm just going to put Tuscan Sun in a line across there. And then into there as well. And then we'll have this section. And then I'm going to get terracotta, put a line in like that. And it's quite a clever trick because you can make it look like two stones together. And then peach. And peach in there. And then go back over each one. Go back to Tuscan Sun. Back to terracotta. Burnt ochre. And then peach in the middle again. I'm going to blend that line out a little bit more. Okay, that's just doing them plain. I might do a fancy one, or I'll do a plain one. So that we can put them ones away for now. Then I want to do a light grey one. So that's 30%, which will be 50% because I don't think I had a 30% out. Definitely is a 5 that and not a 3. And then cloud blue. This is a cracked Prisma, this one, look. And then white. So on this one, I want to recreate, let me get my stone picture back up. Oh, I can't because it died. My phone went off before. Let's have a see. So, this is our darkest colour, which is 50%, not 30. I'll change that to a 5. 50%. 50% cool grey. And I'm going to kind of do lines with this actually. And then maybe do a line of cloud blue. And then maybe do a line of 20% grey on this side. And then a line of white. I know we won't see it on the page, but it will when I come to use the next colour. And then maybe we'll have this flashing over that way and going round. You do find some rocks like this. And then cloud blue. Just blend that in rather than it being straight now. Let's bring cloud blue into it a little bit more. You might, with the lighting, you might find this hard to see. And then 20%. And then same with this. If we have 20% grey. %50 grey around the bottom, the rock. I'm into my weird and wonderful rocks though, so for me this is probably my ideal leaking rock. You're probably thinking, oh my god, these are a bit crazy and wacky, but they're the kind of unusual rocks that I would pick up what I find on the beach. Then white in the middle, and then burnish all them together. And they have them crazy markings in them. And I'm rubbing the white across it like this because it helps drag or cause that dragging effect that you see in stones, you know, the lines. That's what I want in this with the white. And it just breaks them lines up if I bring that up closer. See what it does? So let's just put another normal leaking grey one in, which can be over, we'll have one here. There's probably too grey because there's a grey one there. Next up, 20% grey. Then cloud blue around that side. I love cloud blue in this set, it's stunning. And it's good to work with grey because it helps keep that really light grey bright and bouncing. That's what we want. So then I get my black pencil and we're gonna make this like a speckled rock. And we do this all over the rock. And then we get our burnishing pencil, making sure the pencil is clean, and then you just burnish it, and it just takes the sharp edge of that dot off but still leaves that speckled effect that we're after. Okay, so I've done 2 of them. Maybe this one can be grey as well. I'm going to do it like that one up there, going all the way around the edge with 50% grey and giving it a nice blend line. for the next colour. Really soften off that pressure. Like I said, I don't move my hand very much from where it is unless I want really, really extremely light and I just want to tickle the page. But I majoritively work in the same position and then I just lift my hand. It's weird, I don't do it the same as everybody else, or others people might move up and down the pencil. I don't. What I do, I press firmer when I want to be firmer and I press lighter when I want to be lighter, and that works for me better than moving my hand up and down the pencil. Next, 20% grey, and we're going to go slightly in, so we're going into the middle of the last colour and we're going over that blend line and we're dragging that colour right towards the centre. Working in the blend line and pulling it out. And we've missed a little section there. And then 20% cool grey on there. And then cloud blue. So we're going slightly inside that blend line. Working out towards the middle. And around here, you've got a bit of colour contamination there, but yeah, we'll work with it. And then white in that centre. And we'll just use the white then to burnish all them together. You see that nice iced grey effect. So I just want to dapple all these in them areas. You can do this with all of them if you want to. It's up to you. I might even do it with the ones I've just done down here. And I'm just bouncing it and dotting it. Can you see there if I come even closer? I'm just dotting it. All random dots. The more I get to the edge, the more I do. And then back with the burnishing pencil, which is in my hand, and I'm thinking I put down, and I'm just going to burnish that. But can you see what it does? It just takes that bright sharp black dotted edge off and it just burnishes it. Just takes it away and it gives that nice textured effect that we're after without it being really, really harsh. And you can do that with any. We can go on to this one. We'll dapple this one a bit. Give this some texture. I mean, until I practice more, this is about as real as I can get rocks to look. This is the first time I've done rocks and bricks, so they may be better out there, but see, I've just dappled that one and give it some texture. So now we've got, I'm thinking what colours we haven't done. I want to do that one again. So that was, it was brown blue. So on indigo, 70% and warm cool. And then dark brown and burnt ochre. Okay, so let's see. Come down here so we're in view. And I'm going to come round the edge with indigo. I love how it's stripy like that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come like this into parts of it, and then this side is going to come round, and I'm going to make that. I can hear, I don't know if I can hear somebody else in the bins or that's someone mauling with my bins. Round this side, and a bit of blue can come up there, or indigo should I say, and then brown can come round here, just for that bit for now actually. Let me see, I want to do 70% warm grey, and I'm going over that indigo, not too much because I need that indigo for when we burnish out in a second. And in fact, oh, ow, stuck right in my arm that then. It's good job no one will really pointer. So what I'm doing, I'm leaving half of that blue exposed, where in the bricks I covered the whole of the blue up. I don't want to do that in here. I need to leave some of it out. That's the 70% cool, warm, and this is cool, so I'm going to come, I'll just blend that out a little bit this way. And then where we've gone inside this, we'll just do one side of that. And then here is the same. And then I want dark brown. Sorry, I do a lot of well, I am talking to myself actually because there's no one replying to me, but even still, I know that people will be watching this and probably laughing at me, chunnering away to myself about what I'm doing. So I'm just doing my own unusual random pattern, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, we won't do it like that on the next rock. And then burnt ochre. And just for this one, I brought in the ginger, just for the centres there. And then I'm going to burnish it all with ginger. And that's what I did on that one, and it came out amazing. I loved it. It like made like a teal effect in the stone. There we go. How gorgeous is that? I'm definitely putting another one of them in. And this time I'm going to do it like a stripe effect. I'm going to come over like this. And we'll have another stripe effect going there like that. And there. And turn them inwards as though the rock is bending in as well. And then I'm going to take 70% warm grey. I'm going to add that to the back of it. And then I'm going to go 70% cool grey, and I'm going to go to the back of that with that. Hoping this is going to look as cool as I'm thinking. So brown on the blue side. Brown on the blue side. Only a tiny slither of it though, I don't want that white showing. Brown. This is the madness that goes through my head sometimes, and I think, I wonder if this will work. Probably the most unusual stone you've ever seen in your life, but I don't care. So here I'm just kind of leaving little white bits in. And then I'm going to put the ginger in them white bits there first, and then we'll burnish it. I want to see if this comes out how I'm thinking it'll come out. So I'm going to keep it the same way with the lines. I don't want it to go in any other direction. It has as well. This must be the amazingness of Prismacolours, because look at that. That is exactly how I wanted it to look. It's a really unusual one, but I like it. And I'm just going to get the black pencil. I'm just going to come around the edge of it here and just darken that edge up. So like I said before, under here will be dark because that is over the top of this one. And in water, light reflects everywhere. So underneath here, because that's then on top of this rock. And then that is on top of that rock. And then this rock is on top of that rock. And then this rock is on top of that and that. And that's all the way around there. That's on top of all of them. There we go. Oh, I'm moving around a lot, I know. But let's see which way around is this. This one is going to be on top of this rock. I'm going to black that edge out. And same, it's going to shadow that one. But this one is on top of that rock. And it's also on top of that. That one is on top of that rock. Right, can't do that one yet. Okay, so let's do the brown one, because we've not done the brown one yet. So that is dark umber, dark brown, light umber. This one. Light umber and ginger, which is already out here. So in with dark umber, and this one here can be brown. So I'll go all the way around the edge of this. I'm going to try and get this video in under 2 hours. Hopefully. And then next is dark brown into that. And then next is light umber. And then ginger. Let me just wipe some of that ginger off on my practice sheet because you've got a bit of blue on that. So that's that rock. We'll just come back with that dark umber. Just emphasise some of that there. Make it look like there's a dint in the rock a bit. And let's do this one brown here. So going back around the edge, this is just a simple brown rock. Nothing exciting about this brown rock. I'm pressing on quite hard around the edge here. But if you want to build your layers up, you can. Like I've said in many ones, I'm quite used to layering up now, so I can kind of mush them together quite quick. So I'm only doing it for live stream, for videoing purposes. But normally, if I was doing it at home and I wanted it really realistic looking, and it was more to spend more time on it, I would, but I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours showing you how to colour one rock. I'd rather do it a bit faster and show you how to colour different coloured rocks. That's cool. Can you imagine if you ever found a rock like that? I know you find them more like that, but not just want to put in a nice little whimsical weird looking one. If anyone has found a rock that looks like that, please send me a picture of it, because that will be cool. This is light umber. Blend line. And then ginger. Ginger ninja. But I used to get called as a kid because I've got ginger hair. I did have ginger hair before I coloured it up. I don't really let my roots show very often because I don't have ginger eyebrows or ginger eyelashes. No one knows I'm a ginger. Until obviously my roots grow and then like, whoa, didn't know you had ginger hair. I'm like, yep. But only through the pandemic has my roots managed to get as big as they get. And it's looking like I might have to get a box colour again because salons can't open yet, which is cruel. Ginger. Okay, so we've only got that big rock. And what colour have we not done? We've not done this colour, which is the red grey. So we need 70% warm. I know these colours now off by heart. And then putty beige. Got this one. Oh. Got this one. Putty beige. Peach and burnt umber. Okay, so this one I'm going to do similar to this type of thing going on. So I'm going to put the 70% cool grey in a nice little spot here and then kind of bring it up. And then I'm going to come right at the front of this one and I'm going to bring it like that on an angle. And then again here, all the way across. Like I'm trying to think outside the box. And then I'll burnt ochre. and that's going to follow that grey round. On that side. And then 70% on this side. This is 70% cool. And this side of it. Let's go back over that. That didn't look like I put warm grey on. I didn't think it looked warm grey. Let me just go back over these ones. Wanted this dark. There we go. And then I want peach on this bit, coming round onto that bit, and then peach on all the way around here. And then ginger, sorry, putty beige, blending into that grey. And that's what I'm after. So good for smooshing. Right, and then I'm going to bring putty beige and I'm going to drag that all the way over the other colours we've got going on. And I love how it starts to put the wax, it kind of like pulls it out into different directions, but it makes the rock look so cool. And then I might dopple some of that bit, that rock, and just get the black. And I'm just going to line that rock a little bit more. In some places. And just give it a little bit of an edge. How cool is that? I love it. So hopefully it does look like so that'll have a shadow coming. That'll have a shadow coming under there, because that's that from that rock, and then that from that rock, and this is going to have a shadow under here because that's on top of them. This one I want to change it a bit. I want to get a cream colour, add another colour to it. See how these look. I've seen a couple of stones like this colour, so that one is 50% French grey, then 20% French grey, sand, and yellow ochre. Yes, that's what I want. So let's do these ones. So this one we're going to call a cream colour. So cream, and then that was 50% French grey, 20% French, and then sand and yellow ochre. Let's just swatch that out. See, we're swatching on the fly. These last ones are going to be this colour because I think it'll give us a good contrast. So I'm going to come in with 50% French grey. I'm going to kind of go in like that. I'm going to bring my yellow ochre on this side. Take that yellow ochre over the top of the 50% French. And then 20% French grey over the top of that. And then sand here. Run that into the French grey. And then bring the French grey over the top of the yellow ochre. And then the 20% over the sand. I'm just trying to dirty the cream up a little bit. Sorry about that, I just thought I heard someone coming in my house. And then back over with sand. Tell them a bit shaky now. I thought it was actually so I could hear car keys rattling. And I thought my husband always leaves the car keys downstairs in the hallway. I thought, you know, someone's trying to get something through the letterbox. So I apologise. That made me a bit wobbly. I don't think I like this combo now, actually. Maybe this is my whoopsie mistake. So let's just keep working with it. This is back to the 50% French grey. And I keep persevering. It will get where I want it to get. I just need to get rid of these shakes. Whew. Made me all hot and bothered. I honestly thought I was going to stand up there and come face to face with someone because I could hear like walking up my stairs. It was so bizarre. It's my worst fear, that of obviously catching a robber in the act. So there, that's a good one. I like that. So let's do the whole thing with yellow ochre this time. Down here. And let's just do sand on this rock. And let's get this lighter colour of cream for the centre. And instead of using that French grey, I'm going to get a bit of sepia. And I'm going to slightly darken that edge. Probably could have done that with the 20% French grey, but might not give me the effect. It was a bit too dirty, that French grey, so I'm just changing it to sepia and see what that comes out like. So let's ditch them two. So we're ditching them because they're not right. And I brought in sepia and added cream as a lighter tone. So let's go back in with yellow ochre again. I don't want the rock to look yellow. Gosh, my heart's pounding. So I went into my husband then and was like, where's your keys? Where's your keys? I can hear someone downstairs. And it was the dog. He was lied in the bedroom and he was actually lied on the keys, I think. And that's what made the rattling. And the walking around because I didn't know he was in there. I thought he was asleep behind me. And back with yellow ochre. It gives us this nice golden browny colour. I mean, if you don't like my combos, that's fine. You can use your own. Back with sand. I'm just showing you the concept of kind of what you can do with it. So, yellow ochre. I'm definitely happy with that combo. Yellow ochre, sand, and cream. And then sepia around the edge. Just nice, normal pressure, not too hard. Lighter the better, really, because if you do it too hard, you're going to make a mistake. I think that's the hardest thing. If you do follow along with stuff, I certainly find it the hardest thing is to know exactly how much that person is pressing down on the page, because you can't tell people exactly how hard you're pressing down. It's just like, is it a hard pressure? Could my medium pressure be a hard pressure to somebody else? It's a bit of a strange one. It is. Right, so all I've got left now is the dark grey. So that is, because we haven't used that in this, so that is 20%, oops, 20% warm grey, 50% cool grey, 50% cool grey, 20%, and then 70 warm, 70 cool. And these are going to be our finishing ones. And I think I'm going to do another squirrely one here. So I'm just going to put that in like that. I'm saying it's squirrely, it might not actually be squirrely. So then I'm going to come in with 70% cool. That was 70% warm I've just used. 70% cool. These prismas are amazing for rocks. 50% cool. Absolutely amazing for rocks. And then 20%. And then we're going to have a random dark spot on that. I'm going to ever so slightly blend that out with 50%. I don't want it to be too blended. I want it to look like it's got a dark patch there. And then I'm going to go straight off with 20% into 50, and then lastly into 70% cool on there. That is gorgeous. And then I'm going to have to go light with this side, so I'm going to just come round this side to there, because this is grey here. I don't want it to clash, so I'm going to come right to about here with the warm 70%. Then next go down with the 70%, blend that out. And then 50%. And then lastly 20%. Okay, then I need the black. So this one is slightly over the top of that. Oops, that's not black. There's another boo-boo. That was indigo. I was thinking that looks a bit blue. So that is black, and that's travelling all around there. And then you're on top of that one. So we'll put a nice little shadow around there, which then comes here, because that one is on top of this one. This is where your rocks on top of rocks appears, by doing your shadowing. I've already put a shadow in for that bit there. It's done my anxiety and umber that, thinking someone was coming upstairs. And you've got that on camera as well. That was reality, that. You nearly heard a burglar. Okay. So, lastly, we haven't done is the shadow around here. And then the shadow will come round this one. And this will also have a shadow. This will come out here a bit more. And under there. And I think that does it. So let me just pull that out. And you can put little water waves over the top of it if you wanted to, with a bit of wetting down some white acrylic maybe. I'll do that as another tutorial maybe when I do this rock on the Lost Ocean. So I'll just show you where this can right, where's Lost Ocean? So there's Lost Ocean. So let me find the page I was thinking that could look good on. So it could go at the back of, say, the squid. What was going to do the water bubbles on, that would look amazing underneath that, like it's floating across the rocks. But mostly I was thinking it's a circle one. It's like you could make it look like you can see down it. I mean, you could even do it at the back of that starfish. You know, you could do it at the back of that starfish. It would look amazing. But you want the rocks really to stand out on their own. So there, that was the one I was thinking. you could put that underneath there. You could make that look quite clear across the top, and then just put a nice water effect around the top, so it looks like you're looking down through a reef of seaweed. So if you just did that like a green seaweed colour, your rocks in the middle, see around the outside, that would look stunning. So as for the brickwork, this is what I've started. It's part of a hashtag I'm doing for someone in February. What Kat's doing, and this is what the brickwork looks like. What we've been doing on here in giant terms is what it looks like in miniature terms. So I hope everyone has enjoyed J22 and 23. I am sorry it's late, but obviously I had some ailments over the weekend, so 24 went in front of 22 and 23, but they're back on track. Tomorrow I'll be doing another 2 in 1 video to try and catch up from the loss over the weekend. So I hope you've enjoyed the brick and the stones. I know they're not very traditional bricks, some are and some aren't, but it's the way I've done it. Shall-arty for you. So thank you very much everyone for joining me on these background videos, and I will see you on the next one. Bye everyone.